Welcome again, grade 6. Let's complete our story, The Secret Garden, with chapter 2, and it's called Mary in Yorkshire. And Yorkshire is a town in England. So let's start again with the new words. The first word here we have the word hopped. Hopped. Hopped is a verb. It's the past tense of hop and it means to jump on one foot. Jump on one foot. Number 2, whisper, whisper, to speak very quietly, to speak very quietly. Number 3, spade, it's something you use for digging the ground. When you dig the ground or the garden, you use the spade. Okay, let's start our chapter. The robin, and the robin is a kind of birds, as you can see here in the photo. The robin flew down near Mary and the gardener, and the old man began to smile. The robin flew to a tree near Mary, started singing to her. Mary spoke in a soft, quiet voice, and the old man looked at her in surprise. In the next few days, Mary spent almost all her time in the gardens. The fresh air from the moor made her hungry, and she was becoming stronger and healthier. Okay, Mary asked Martha to tell her about the secret garden. What do you think? Who is Martha? We will know. And the last thing, I think yes, it's the last thing, it was Mr. Craven's favorite garden, and he used to take care of it. What do you think? Which garden is this? Yes, we have 2 extra photos. Miss Craven was sitting on one branch when it broke and she fell, and the next day she died. So now we will know how did she die. And the last thing, Mary heard a cry from one of the rooms. Miss Medlock asked Mary to go back to her room. What do you think happened? Now let's start reading our story. Now you can open your story, page 14, to read with me. Okay? So let's complete. Garden, she told herself. There is an extra wall here, and there is no way in. She went back to where the gardener was digging and spoke to him. At first, he answered in a very bad-tempered way, but suddenly the robin flew down near them, and the old man began to smile. He looked at different persons then, and Mary thought how much nicer people looked when they smiled. The gardener spoke gently to the robin, and the pretty little bird hopped on the ground near them. "He is my friend, he is," said the old man. "There aren't any other robins in the garden, so he is a bit lonely." He spoke in a strong Yorkshire dialect, so Mary had to listen carefully to understand him. She looked very hard at the robin. "I am lonely too," she said. She had not realized this before. "What's your name?" she asked the gardener. "Ben Weatherstaff." "Ben Weatherstaff. I am lonely myself. The robin is my only friend, you see." "I haven't got any friends at all," said Mary. "Yorkshire people always say what they are thinking, and old Ben was a Yorkshire moorman. "We are alike, you and me," he told Mary. "We are not pretty to look at, and we are both very disagreeable." No one had ever said this to Mary before. "I am really as ugly and disagreeable as Ben?" she wondered. Suddenly the robin flew to a tree near Mary and started singing to her. Ben laughed loudly. "Well," he said, "he wants to be your friend." "Oh, would you please be my friend?" she whispered to the robin. She spoke in a soft, quiet voice, and old Ben looked at her in surprise. "You said that really nicely," he said. "You sound like Decon when he talks to animals on the moor." "Do you know Decon?" asked Mary. But just then the robin flew away. Oh, look, he's flown into the garden with no door. Please, Ben, how can I get into it? Ben stopped smiling and picked up his spade. You can't, and that's that. It's not your business. No one can find the door. Run away and play, will you? I must get on with my work. And he walked away. He didn't even say goodbye. In the next few days, Mary spent almost all her time in the gardens. The fresh air from the moor made her hungry, and she was becoming stronger and healthier. One day she noticed the robin again. He was on top of a wall singing to her. Good morning, isn't this fun? Come this way, he seemed to say, as he hopped along the wall. Mary began to laugh as she danced along beside him. I know the secret garden is on the other side of this wall, she thought excitedly, and the robin lives there. But where is the door? That evening she asked Marcia to stay and talk to her beside the fire after supper. They could hear the wind blowing around the old house, but the room was warm and comfortable. Mary only had one idea in her head. Tell me about the secret garden, she said. Well, all right then, miss, but we are not supposed to talk about it. You know, it was Mr. Craven's favorite garden, and she and Mr. Craven used to take care of it themselves. They spent hours there reading and talking. Very happy they were. They used the branch of an old tree as a seat, but one day when she was sitting on the branch it broke and she fell. She was very badly hurt, and the next day she died. That's why he hates the garden so much, and we won't let anyone go in there. How sad, said Mary. Poor Mr. Craven. It was the first time that she had ever felt sorry for anyone. Just then, as she was listening to the wind outside, she heard another noise in the house. Can you hear a child crying? She asked Marcia. Marcia looked confused. No, I think it must be the wind. But at that moment, the wind blew open their door and they heard the crying very clearly. I told you, cried Mary. At once, Martha shut the door. It was the wind, she repeated, but she didn't speak in her usual natural way, and Mary didn't believe her. The next day it was very rainy, so Mary didn't go out. Instead, she decided to wander around the house, looking into some of the 100 rooms that Miss Medlock had told her about. She spent all morning going in and out of dark, silent rooms, which were full of heavy furniture and old pictures. She saw no servants at all, and was on her way back at her room for lunch when she heard a cry. It's a bit like the cry that I heard last night, she thought. Just then, the housekeeper, Miss Medlock, appeared with her keys in her hand. As you can see, here is Miss Medlock, and here is the key in her hand. What are you doing here? She asked crossly. Crossly means very angrily. I didn't know which way to go, and I heard someone crying, answered Mary. You didn't hear anything. Go back to your room now, and if you don't stay there, I will lock you in. Mary hated Miss Medlock for this. There was someone crying. I know there was, she said to herself, but I will discover who it is soon. She was almost beginning to enjoy herself in Yorkshire. So now let's see some questions and answer it. First, on the first two pages, okay, seems we have no quotation here, so we will see the quotation here. Yes. Number 3. How sad poor Mr. Craven. How sad poor Mr. Craven. Who said this? Yes, it's Mary. And why did the speaker feel sorry for Mr. Craven? Because his wife died. Why was it so strange for the speaker to feel this? Okay, why was this? It's very strange for Mary to feel sad for someone. Because what? Yes, because she never felt sorry for any one. Mary is a selfish girl who just like or cares about herself. So it was very, very, very strange to feel sorry for anyone. Number two, you don't hear anything? Go back to your room now, and if you don't stay, I will lock you in. Yes, we just read this. Who said this? Yes, it was Miss Medlock. And to whom she was talking with? Mary. And what did she hear? She heard what? Yes, she heard someone crying. Okay, let's complete our complete sentence. Mercy's brother's space is always out on the moor. Yes, we have the name of Mercy's brother. It's or he called Deacon. Yes, Deacon is always on the moor. Mary was almost beginning to space herself in Yorkshire. Yes, it was the last word in the story. Yes, beginning to enjoy herself. Yes, you can circle this, enjoy herself, and we will write here enjoy. Yes, thank you, grade 6. I hope you enjoyed our chapters, and meet you next time. Bye bye.